In today's section, I'm going to talk about the tools in Photoshop. I mean, the Photoshop tools and about the interface of Photoshop. Okay, so you can see over here at the left side of the screen, you can see that the tools are over here. Okay, these are the basic things you have to know about Photoshop, and this is where actually all the magic works. So when you open your Photoshop, this is the first interface that you are going to see. Okay, the first interface that you're going to see, and you can check the top there. You can see file, edit, image, layer. This section of Photoshop is called the menu bar. Okay, so in case you want to save image or open image or bring a import and export, this is done on the menu bar. This section is called the tool bar. Okay, we have all the tools here, and I'm going to explain them in the video. These are the tools. Okay, if you're in the group, I've dropped the tools there and the function they perform. So I'll leave the group link below and join and learn more. So this side is called the document tab, the tab over here. So in case I open a new document, it's really going to appear over here. This side is called the layer palette. Okay, so all the layers that we are going to create, you are going to see them over here. So we have the background, because this image is actually the real background, because I just opened the image in my project. Okay, so this is actually the background. Okay, top here is the properties. Okay, so you can adjust it, mean the brightness, everything. These are the libraries that you can use, and this is the properties. Okay, and this is the character palette. In all, this side we call it the panel dock. So you can actually zoom in your work using control and the plus key on your keyboard, and it's actually going to zoom in for you. When you want to zoom back to, it's control plus the minus key, and it's actually going to zoom back for you. Okay, so this is the option bar. Okay, that's the option toolbar. Okay, it gives you the option to full screen, 100% full screen. This is the option. Over here is our working space. Where this flyer is, this is actually our working space. Okay, our working space. So we can move this image around, and you can see that you have a white background. We bring the image back, and you can see we have our working space here. So before we get in, I would like you to subscribe. Okay, just subscribe to my channel. Please just subscribe for me. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the selection tools. The tools used for selection. I'm going to talk about the selection tool. We have the move. This tool here is called move. The first one is used for moving objects. Okay, so let's select this one in case I want to move any object over here. Okay, in case I want to move any object, this, so you can move all the objects. Okay, so that's the first tool. It's called moving. It's used for moving objects or images placed at the workspace of your Photoshop area. Okay, so the next tool, inside the move, when you right click, you can see a different section. That is the artboard tool. It's part of the move. Okay, so let's move to the next one. The next one is called the rectangular marquee. Okay, with this rectangular marquee, remember it's part of the selection tool that I'm talking about. Okay, so the second one, this one is selection tool. Okay, and with this selection tool, as the name implies, it's used for selecting objects, or in case let's talk about this flyer over here. In case I want to make an editing a very section of this image, and I really want to do it in a rectangular way, because as you can see, learn these CR7 skills. The learn this is in a rectangular shape. You can see that. Let me zoom in. You can see that this learn this is rectangular box. Okay, over here. So this was done using the rectangular selection tool. That's the rectangular marquee. Okay, so in case I really want to change this rectangular box into orange, what I will do is I'll just left click on this rectangular box, come here, make a selection. Okay, so in case I want to make a selection, come here, make a selection. Okay, You drag, you right left click and you drag and hold until you reach where you want to make the selection, and you stop. So right now I've made a selection, meaning if I want to make any changes in this box, the changes is only going to reflect in this section, not in the whole picture. It's only going to reflect at the section where I've selected. Okay, so in case I just want to change the color at the section, let me change this. You see, I've changed it to red. That's the power of the selection tool. It really didn't affect this. So in case I click here, it wouldn't affect. In case I click here, it wouldn't affect it. In case anywhere that I click, it wouldn't really affect it. But if I click here, it will affect it because of the selection tool. Okay, it made this thing happen and it worked effectively. So in case I want to deselect it, I'll just press Ctrl plus D and it deselect the thing. Right now, the learn this is no more because I used the selection tool to select that particular place and I made the editing over there. I changed the paint. Okay, I cleared it from there using the paint tool. And when you right click on the rectangular tool, you can see the elliptical marquee tool. We have the single row marquee, or we have the single column. All right. So with this elliptical marquee, when you left click on that one, so in case you want to select the rectangular, you just come here, you right click, then you select the rectangular. You can select any of them that you want, but let's move on to the elliptical marquee tool. So now this is going to select or highlight anything in a circular form. So in case I just want to take the head of Cristiano Ronaldo, I'll just drag and hold. Okay, I'll just left click and drag. So now I've made a new selection. Let me create a new layer. So in case I really want to paint this face, you can see Cristiano Ronaldo head is no more because of the selection too. So it really didn't affect anything. In case I come here and I click anywhere, it's really going to affect it because I've not made any selection. That's why it has affected the whole flyer that I'm doing. But in case I make a selection, here, let's select this guy head. In case I make any selection here and I choose the paint and I click anywhere, it wouldn't affect it. But when I click inside the selection, it will affect it. So know the difference when using the when you select an object in your design and you want to make editing to it, it only happens within the selection tool. Okay, the selection that you have made, any effect happens within it. Outside the selection, there is nothing going to happen. Let's move on. Another selection that we are going to talk about is the single row marquee. Okay, this is just a single row, okay? Just like a line. You select anywhere. Okay, so let's move on to the other one. It's a single column. The row move horizontal. Okay, and the column move vertical. Okay, so this is a vertical. So let's move on to another category of tools called lasso tool. This lasso tool is used for free outline around objects. Okay, so let's try and use our lasso tool. So in case we want to make an outline around Cristiano Ronaldo, we can use the lasso tool. The other one that we are going to talk about is the polygonal lasso tool. Okay, it's also here. It's a polygon. In case you want to make any selection, just using the polygon. All right, so that's the polygonal. So that's the uses of the polygonal lasso tool. The next one is the magnetic lasso tool. The moment you click, it will just be selecting, anywhere you want. It makes a perfect selection for you. Okay, so you can see it's just doing its work. I'm not the one actually doing it, but it can actually select the image you really want perfectly for you. Okay, so that's the name you call. So you just left click here, drag it. You see, it's selecting the image perfectly. Okay, so in case I just don't want it past that side, okay, I can just go this way. It's actually selecting it for me. So you can see I'm not actually doing this. It's a magnetic tool doing its work. Okay, so it's actually doing its work for me. Okay, so you can see it's in case I don't want it to, if you drag it back, it can actually make the changes for you. Okay, so that's also the power of the magnetic tool. Selection is also used for selection. This one we talk about is the quick selection tool. One of the favorite tool that I like using most is um the quick selection tool. Okay, it's here. So this one you right click it. We have the quick selection. With this tool, what it does is let me zoom in. What it does is that is it actually selects the image you want. Okay, it actually detect the image, so you can see it's mostly used by um the professional graphic designers, okay, for selecting images. Okay, so it uses its auto intelligence to select the image. Okay, so you just left click, just be dragging it around. Okay, just be dragging and it will automatically it will be selecting it. Okay, so you can see that I'm not doing anything but it's selecting the image perfectly. Okay, so I'm just giving you a scenario of how it works. Okay, so it's actually selecting the images. In case it selects somewhere and you really don't want it to select that place, you can press the Alt. The selection will be removed. Okay, so you can see that it's removing it. This one is the magic one two. It's just like the quick selection tool. It also does the same way. So this is for selection. Okay, this is for selection in case you want to remove the background of your image. Okay, using Photoshop, these are the selection tools you can use. Okay, these are the selection tools you can use. The quick selection tool and can use the magic one to do it. So they are just for selecting, mostly used in editing a lot, because sometimes you really want to place the object at a different background or use different elements, and you have to create a new layer, take the objects out and place it at the background, or making it sometimes when you're making a flyer, you have to um crop your image, select it, take out the image and place it at a nice background that you have desired, so that you can bring all these elements in. All right. So the selection tool is very important and you have to learn them. Okay. So the next one that I'm talking about is the crop one. That's actually the last one I'm going to talk about. In the next video, I'm really going to talk about a lot. The next one is the crop. Okay, crop and slice too. Okay, so with the crop and slice tools, it's just like taking some portion of a picture and representing it in our workspace to deal with that selection that we made. I mean, we all know cropping. As you can see, this symbol is used for cropping. Okay, this symbol is actually used for cropping. So in case I want to crop this section of the image only, okay, I don't want to bring Cristiano Ronaldo or anyone in this. I just want to take out this section of the image. Learn these CR7 skills. Okay, so I'll just drag it here. And the moment I click on this only appears. I have cropped only this section. Okay, this section of the image. So this is going to allow me to work with only this section as my workspace. The crop tool is used for removing unnecessary elements from an image. Okay, so that you can get a specific relevant section of the image that you want to use and you work with it. Okay, so it's used for cropping. And when you right click on it, we have the perspective crop tool. It's used for fixing native troubles. So those who did Protect, you really understand what I'm talking about, perspective. Okay, so this helps in case you want to make a perspective drawing or selection. Okay, so when you click OK, you see it's for perspective. Actually, I wouldn't like to make this video very long. These are the basic things we have to know before we can get on working on other projects. So I'll be doing another video about the tools and I'll be explaining them. And at the end of the tutorial, I'll be giving us a project for us to work on. So you are going to submit our project in the Telegram group for us to discuss and know what's going on. But I'm going to leave the links below so you can just click on the link and join any of the group. Okay, being the WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. And I'll urge you to please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please just subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.